Okay, here we are. I'm going to also start. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Sudha Jamte, and here we are at Sudha Live on Fridays, end of day, 6 o'clock. And somewhere, it's still morning for you. And thank you for everybody who's joining. I started this so I would be able to share AI opportunities. And by that, I mean, it could be events, it could be anything in your learning path to figure out how to learn AI. Likely, I will talk about events, jobs, and interesting happenings in the week. Okay. And this has been such a happening week. I know when we are all so zoomed out by end of the week, it looks like, where did the week go? But when I sit to prepare for what I'm going to share with you today, I realize what happened in the week, where in different places. I might have attended some of them, or I might have created some of them, but this, I would call this a happening week. I'll tell you in a minute. Okay, so one of the things is we started off our classes at Business School of AI, online classes, all built with no-code AI, with amazing global instructors, and kicked it off last week on Thursday with our LiveLab NLP, Natural Language Processing class, taught by Sam Wigglesworth from Oxford. And this week, as a special deal, I offered to people that you could just take the LiveLab portion, because people said, hey, how much time is it going to take? And it is 6 weeks live. I mean, 6 hours of 1 hour week live, or 2 hours week live is, maximum of 6 live hours is all they're investing in each of my classes. But people still felt, hey, it's too much and we're all zoomed out, or we're busy with work or something. And so the LiveLab portion alone, I said, okay, we'll open it up. And we had people come in. Thank you, everybody. So officially, the Natural Language Processing LiveLab class is, registration is closed, not opening it, So for those students who are continuing on and building with it, they will come and show you. We are shooting for the 29th of September as the demo day. So I might have some interesting demos from amazing students for you to show. So with that, I'm switching gears to machine learning and data science, which is the next set of courses we have. So on Monday, the 20th, there is a pre-class. So every class we have like a pre-class. So the classes are paid classes, and the pre-classes are like free audits. You can come and check out what it feels like, and you'll get some value out of it. It's not just going to be, marketing pitch. Because it's no-code AI platform, we would like you to come and follow along and set up the no-code AI platform. And if it's interesting, you can just go off on your own, and we'll give you some free resources. If it's not, then, you can say, okay, I need the hands-on instructor support to go learn, and I'm going to go build a project, and then you can come into our classes. And our classes are limited to 20 people, so we don't take everybody. So it doesn't matter if you all come, show up for the pre-class. It's good for us because we like teaching to a lot of different people. So the September 20th at 12 o'clock Pacific time is the pre-class for the LiveLab machine learning. And then the actual class is on 21st morning at 18 hour Europe and 9 a.m. So 12 o'clock you take the pre-class, and 9 o'clock next day you have the real class. But what's the big deal with this machine learning class? This is the fastest way by which you can learn machine learning and build out a model. So we'll start with real data, show you how to clean the data, and visualize the data, make sense of the data, see what patterns it's telling you, and then to actually go in and build out the model and do a model and fitting, all that. And that's why we are using no-code AI platforms. And for this LiveLab, it's taught by Julian Carbonell, and he's going to set it up with a Google Colab. So we'll do the Google Colab setup and show you what you learn and what this cycle looks like in the pre-class, free on Monday. And then on Tuesday, you go through the whole exercise. Julian believes in 1 hour you should be able to do. I've been pushing him to give it a little bit more time. So, we're planning for 90 minutes of lab, but then you can also all online and no coding required. And once you build the model, you're done. You will give you another data set and you replicate that, and you're done. If you need follow-ups, you'll have office hours and Julian will help you, and you build it out, you get your certificate. So this is the fastest way to learn machine learning and to earn a certificate. Thank you, Mike, for joining us. We have some people who are joining here right on the Zoom here, and I believe this is streamed on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So you can ask a question or chat anywhere. And I've been having students who tell me, okay, you're talking about all these resources, but where are all the different links? And I tend to go back to the chats, into the LinkedIn chat or on Twitter and just share these links. I don't know if it'll be useful if I just put this together an email, like a newsletter, and send it to you. It's just more work for me, but I do collect them in one place, so it's not too bad. So let me know if that is useful. I will share that with you. And for the purpose of people who are not yet going to be on my email list or anything, I just want to show you your starting point for what I was showing you. So the full set of catalog for my course, and thank you, Nyan, and thank you, Yash, for helping me put this together. I've been talking about a lot of different courses. I don't have gazillion courses. I just have, literally, I have, we have about 5 courses. And so literally we started with the LiveLab NLP, when we're going to have a LiveLab machine learning. And then I'm going to teach this no-code AI data science for the business user. And then we have 2 AI ethics course. One is responsible AI and inclusive AI. That's it. But I keep talking so much about it and people are asking, where do I get started? So you can actually go to this URL here and I'll show you how to get to it. And, you can click download and you can get the entire catalog if that's of interest to you. Otherwise, the easiest place for you to go is to go to Business School of AI. And I share a lot of free resources also. So people are always asking me that. So you go to Business School of AI. This is where you can click on Women's Planning. You can find a lot of videos from amazing women explaining every possible topic in the AI world. Okay. And then you click on Weekly Wednesday here. And then you can actually sign up for Weekly Wednesday, which is our free happy place where we bring our speakers once a month and once a week on Wednesday and have a conversation around that. And then you can request a catalog and get a free no-code AI course. If you're totally new to this and she keeps talking about no-code AI, what is it? And, I have a mini course for you that teaches what is no-code AI. So if you request a catalog, it'll take you to a form, you fill it, and we'll send that to you. And then these are the different courses that I was telling you that we have. So the NLP course enrollment is over. So this is not going to take you anywhere. This is my data science course, which is basically learning data science. What is machine learning, deep learning, supervised learning, unsupervised learning. In fact, I'm going to talk about advanced what is called as foundational models. And there's a controversy. This came from Dr. Fifili from Stanford as foundation models, a set of models that are going to serve as the foundation. And we have like this thing called narrow AI, where every time you make AI, you have to make it again and again. You have to build a model to create a problem to solve a problem. And there is this whole concept of general AI, where we are going towards one AI, which kind of would be a general purpose AI, which can solve a lot of things. We are not there. So this concept of foundation model is some model like BERT and GPT-3. There's one for NLP called Hugging Face or Transformers. So all of those are foundation models, but there's a controversy in the research world whether it should be called foundation model. So I'm not taking sides, but I'm going to teach you what it is. So that's all going to be part of the data science for the business user course. This machine learning one is the one that is coming up with Julian, and this is the one with Susanna. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, because it's an exciting announcement that came from UN this week that prompts me to talk about that. Okay, so before I close out on this, the Julian's course, the LiveLab with NLP. So you go here right away. So you come down and you say, learn data science with no-code AI. You click here and it should take you to the enrollment page. It will give you a page which has a lot of information, and you can actually go and find out if that's for you. Let me click that. I know I stopped the sharing. 1 second, I'm going to come back. With Zoom, I have to share the screens again and again. So I clicked on no-code AI data learned data science with no-code, and it came to this place. There is a free listing, I believe, of the no-code AI webinar that I gave. So even if you're new to this, you can do this. And then here it lists the no-code AI data science course that I'm teaching. And then here it lists the course that Julian is teaching, which is the LiveLab one. It's listed at $255, but what I'm going to do is right now, I'm actually having a new offer that I'm launching. So if you use the code LIVE, you should get a discount, and this will be available for $199 till Monday noon, 1 o'clock actually at Monday. So on the 21st, this class starts on 21st. So you'll get this course by Monday. You come to the pre-class, check it out. If it is interesting, you can sign up. Otherwise, you can go your jolly way. And till then, you'll get this at $199. So that's the deal. So this is all from Business School of AI, straight from there. Okay. With that, I want to switch gears. Let me go back. I had some notes written up because we have a lot of stuff today. So I told you about the NLP course is closed. The other interesting thing is, so what happened was Monday, we had a discussion about EmotonsAI with Susanna, because she did a pre-class for her upcoming InclusiveAI Masterclass that's happening later in the month. And we were talking about EmotonsAI. And I'm going to go back to EmotonsAI, so bear with me for a minute, because I want to tell you what happened this week and what's coming up this week in sequence. And then we are going to go into EmotonsAI. And I'll tell you, because UN made a big announcement about that. Yes, the United Nations. Okay. So Monday was the pre-class with Susanna. And so that recording is available if that's something of interest to you. And then Tuesday was the NLP LiveLab. So that registration is closed. So I can't offer anything else from there. But Wednesday, we had our speaker, Vlad Maisla, who came in and spoke to our class about NLP Secrets. Vlad Maisla works at Cruise as a technical product manager, and he came in. And so if you go to my YouTube, you actually have this recording from Vlad. And the beauty of it is Henry, who writes our blog for on Medium for Business School of AI. Let me show that in a minute. So if you go to medium.com, businessschoolofai.com, here is Henry Mulak. He's just waiting to get this live. He has the recording from Vlad Maisla about NLP Secrets, and has written a beautiful blog summarizing. So thank you, Henry. Henry actually takes the time to come to Weekly Wednesday. He's a very experienced journalist, but he ended up taking my AI class at Stanford, and then he decided that he will attend Weekly Wednesday each week, and then quickly write up a summary, and then embed the recording in there. So you don't need to sign up for anything. You can just go follow medium.com/business school of AI. And each week you'll get this. So right after I finish talking to you, this whole session, that live stream that we are doing, Henry's post should go live right here. And so if you follow that, you should get a notification, and you can get that for all the weeks, every week, Weekly Wednesday. And other than that, that's about NLP Secrets from Vlad. So if you missed the NLP class sign up, this is your opportunity to learn business applications of NLP and what's the big deal, what is the complexity in there. So that's the Wednesday part, right? And then one of the things we did in the NLP class that Sam Wigglesworth did is we found there are jobs in AI space for product managers, data engineers, and sales folks. And so Sam actually in NLP space, so we had, I think there are senior product managers, senior technical product managers, data engineers, and sales from Poly.ai, from Google Assistant team, and from Alexa team. So one of the things Sam did was review these classes. And so if you're signed up with any of our classes, we'll help you kind of look at your resume and say, hey, I'm thinking about this class, and is that something you can help? We'll do that, right? Hi, Dan, thank you for joining. So so if time permits, I want to keep this to half an hour. So, this is about sharing AI opportunities. So, but if we have time, I will like to go through one of those jobs and show you how you can connect the dot or what's really needed, because it's not a big deal. You should be able to do that. You just need to get one of these AI things, AI skills, that knowledge that's interesting for you. So if you're already in product management, if you have other skills by which you can connect back, if you learn, but you have to figure out whether you're interested in NLP or machine learning and which direction you want to go. Okay, so we'll do that towards the end. Otherwise, I'll give you the link at the end, right? I'm going to share when I share the link. So maybe I should share the course links and not wait till the end. Okay, so let me share the job link. So this is Enterprise Lead Product Manager. This is one. So let me find the other ones. This Product Design Lead is another one, which is a remote job. So it's a US job, but you could be join from anywhere. This is another of those jobs. So there's a bunch of jobs I found in the AI space that I thought I should share with you. These are not just limited to NLP. The 3 NLP jobs that I already shared are different. That is also like a product manager, sales job, sales leadership using NLP. Okay, so these 2 I think are from Workera. Okay, so those are the different jobs that I found. So you have the LiveLab from NLP, which you can get from Medium by following our medium.com/business school of AI. Jobs we covered, and what else have we got? Okay, and Monday you're going to go. It's Monday if you want to sign up for the pre-class to learn the LiveLab machine learning with Julian. This is where you go. You go to luma.com/LiveLab pre-class. Maybe I should post this in one of the places where you guys are watching. Let me see whether I can post this on LinkedIn, where the live thing is happening right now. Hey, Suresh, thank you for joining. So join on Monday, noon PT to audit the LiveLab machine learning. Here, sign up. The thing with LinkedIn I found is when LinkedIn does the live, it literally shows the comments only at the time when it happens. So it makes sense, right? Because it won't show all the list of comments in one go. So you get to see the comments only at the point when I'm having that conversation in there. So this is the LiveLab. So Luma/LiveLab pre-class. And if you click there, you can just sign up. And I've set it up such that, it's all GDPR compliant and part of mailing list, whatnot. So you're not dependent on me. And if you find that that's not useful, you can unsubscribe anytime. So I'm trying to do this consistently. So the live labs we are doing as the pre-class for the live labs or pre-class for all our sessions, we're trying to make them consistent at noon on Monday. Because we have the weekly Wednesday speaker series on Wednesday mornings. You have this live session for opportunities with me on Friday. So those of you who want to go a little bit more hands-on or get a taste of our classes, can't afford it or think you're not ready, doesn't matter. It's your choice, your time. So if that's something you want to do, come for the live labs on noon. So I'm also going to put that live lab link here. So it's Luma, it's lu.ma is Luma. lu.ma/LiveLab pre-class, and you can sign up for Julian's class and check it out. And then if that's interesting, you can always come take the class the next day. And of course, you have to be one of the 20 people because we're going to limit at 20 people. So that's the first set of opportunity that I wanted to give you. The second thing is 21st, when we have the class with Julian, is a very happening day. And I don't want to give you opportunities that is just from my work and Business School of AI. I'm going to give you everything that I find that would be useful for you. So the funny thing is the topic we chose. So we're going to teach machine learning. So Julian is going to teach you machine learning, and you're going through the whole thing. But let me show you the curriculum in case you're interested in that. So you know, what does that mean? What does teaching machine learning mean? So here is the curriculum of the class. So on the pre-class, you'll end up setting up the Google Colab environment, hopefully. Otherwise, you'll have the recording for that to follow up. And then during this class, he's going to show you getting your data ready, data exploration, finding dependency between variables, data visualization, and then you do the prediction with machine learning. And then once you get the model, now you're not going to get the perfect precision and recall. So how do you improve the performance of the model? And he's going to go through feature redundancy reduction and things like that, right? So that's what you would learn in that 1 hour class. So come for the pre-class. I would highly recommend you come for the pre-class, audit it, and see if this is something you want to do. And maybe if you want to take it slow, you know, you'd have learned something about Google Colab setup that Julian is talking about, and then maybe you can go from there. Otherwise, I'm giving this $199. That's the fastest way to earn an ML certificate if that's something you want to go. But the funny thing is, now comes the funny thing. So we have to use some data set to tell you that, to show that. So given my love for mobility and autonomous vehicles, I've been telling you, we've been talking to KiwiBot and, you know, looking at some of the city data where there is mobility data, which is MDS, mobility data specifications standards. So last week right here, I walked you through mobility data specification and what city of San Francisco is doing. What does that data tell you about equitable transportation? So what we are going to do is we're going to take equitable transportation as our topic and then look at mobility data. So we're literally going to take an MDS data from a city, and that's what Julian is going to show you. And the funny part is on the 21st, there is an AI in urban mobility event happening right after our class. And so, but the thing is, this is happening here. So AI in urban mobility, and this is by AI for Sustainable Cities. Again, I have no affiliation. I found this very fascinating because this was done by a group which is so diverse. So you have people from Denmark, from Portugal, from Malaysia. It's kind of an odd time for me. So this is going to work better for some of you who are watching this. So, you know, hopefully you'll enjoy and then come and tell us. But my focus is on urban mobility and to provide equitable transportation. And there's a passion of mine when I'm talking about mobility. So that's what we're going to teach at Julian's class. So maybe you'll attend this, maybe you'll attend our pre-class. And then if this is interesting, you can come for Julian's class. Otherwise, come and tell us what you learned from this event that I shared. Again, I have no affiliation, but I just thought that was fantastic. And now I told you I'm going to talk about EmotonsAI, and there was an announcement by UN. So I'm going to show you what that meant. Okay, so I saw this more come out as a tweet. I believe it's an article that was tweeted out. So the report, Jawan Hudson, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention on my tweet. So this is post from an article from Washington Post. Again, some of you might have access, some of you might not. So it is a UN human rights chief is calling for a moratorium on the use of artificial intelligence that poses a risk to facial, like human rights violation, privacy, and bias. And specifically, she called out facial recognition. We've spoken about it. Rebecca Tweed is an expert in that space. You should follow her to track what is going on with facial recognition and AI ethics. There was also another thing. The report voices wariness about tools that try to deduce people's emotion and mental states by analyzing their facial expressions or body movements. And that is full of bias. And this is, this resonated with me big time, because the last semester, we taught a course called Career Pivot to AI Ethics. And Susanna Raj and I taught that module on data bias, and I spoke on data bias mitigation. And we focused on facial recognition, and we did an exercise with the class, and we did one on emotions AI as a second exercise. So we had 2 masterclass, one by Diawin from Amazon and one from Ankita of General Motors. And this was all about laying the foundation. So if you're one of my students who had taken that class, please come back to us, because now we have the next level class. If you're new to AI ethics or data bias and looking at this, come talk to us. We will give you some recorded content from the past so you can just accelerate your learning and come up to speed. So what we are going to do is, Susanna did a pre-class on Monday, and we talked about emotions AI. And what we are going to do in the class, her class is on the 27th of September. What we are going to do in the class is we are going to take a use case of a company using emotions AI for their hiring process. So this is a AI used by HR department for hiring, and they're going to decide, hey, looking at the expression of this person, is this person a cultural fit, and do we want to call them for the next level interview? This happens for real in industry, and there are tons of companies who are using AI, and those AI exist, but they're looking at expressions, and they're going to decide whether you're an angry person, you're a trustworthy person, do you have integrity, and how do you define these things? So that's what our inclusive AI course is going to be. So one of the things, everything we do, we try to talk at the higher level business, and we go down to the tech, and we teach you without any coding using no code AI. So in this case, instead of having a discussion, and we will have a lot of discussion because we have diverse set of people, but what we will do is we will have one of the classes on the 27th is going to be a hands-on no code AI lab using a platform called Playment, where we would teach the students to define what are the different emotions, what is the construct of that, and then go feed it into Playment to define annotations for data. So let me show you a little clip. When I saw this, I remembered the clip we did from last class, and I decided I don't believe in hoarding content. I don't believe in hoarding any lessons, because so if you're working on anything, any area you're interested, if you talk to me, that's why I allow people to come audit our classes as a free class on the first day. I allow you to come and, watch, get our weekly Wednesday sessions for free. And we have a lot of recordings and stuff that I liberally share, because the real value is in us coming together as a community. When you hear this emotions AI and how we are going to define the construct and do labeling and build inclusive AI, and somebody else is listening to the same thing, you're going to connect the dots differently. My job here and my team's job is to help you connect the dot between the tech and the business, or the business at the high level consideration of business and the depths of tech. As a non-coding person, product manager, business manager, UX designer, HR person, legal person, you name it, right? And as a data scientist who's interested in the ethical dimensions of it. So we have some data scientists like Yash, who hosts our weekly Wednesday, who's part of our team here, and who works with data ethics in her and is looking to build responsible AI. But the conversation comes together only when we actually bring multiple perspectives. That's the reality of building AI in industry. It's not built by one person, and it's built by one kind of person. It fails, it does not perform, and then it doesn't get anywhere. Pilots fail, 85% of pilots fail. So I want you to go take that job, create a role for you with whatever you bring to the table. So if you want to talk to me, you know how to find me, and I'm accessible in all possible social channels, or you can write to me at Business School of AI at Sujamte at Business School of AI too. So I want to show you. So one of the things I did is, we had this lesson from last time. I decided, okay, this particular lesson about the AI ethics, let me open it up so that, and I think I shared that on Twitter. So I'm going to show that to you. If I can get to it in a minute. Yeah. And it's a 10-minute lesson, given that we are near the end of our session. I'm not going to go through the 10 minutes, but I'm going to show you a snippet, because when I say emotions AI, what does that mean? Right? So here I am. Watch this. So this is our lesson from Career Pivot from last time. So if you're signing up for Inclusive AI with Susanna, you will get access to this automatically. But this is the foundation piece that we gave the last class. We're going to build on that for next one, right? We'll look at Mona Lisa's face and think she's smiling. What if that smile is her ticket to get into the museum or do something else? That is what happened with Canon employees in their Beijing office. They have an AI that is monitoring them, and they have to smile to get into the office in the morning, to change their temperature setting, do anything around the office. And imagine they have to ask the printer to print a document only by giving a big beaming smile. Can you imagine running around in a stress to get the document printed? And the printer is expecting you to smile? I can imagine this. And what you're seeing now is not going to qualify as a smile. It is going to be mockery. Okay. So you go on, this is 10 minutes, and here is Diavin. Okay, before Diavin, I want to show you what is the definition of this, how it is done in industry. There's a standard of how this is done in industry. What are researchers doing?
Researchers are turning to technology to find more neutral ways of studying emotion.
The approach that we take is more of a bottom-up, objective approach.
Rachel Jack's research uses a computer which randomly generates dynamic facial expressions.
We've used this really to look at main differences between cultures in terms of the 6 classic emotions: happy, surprise, fear, disgust, anger, and sad.
Okay. So, at our weekly Wednesday last week. And what did she have to say about this? Because she helps customers day in, day out
Win of Amazon
to build
AWS.
ethical systems using AWS, and has that conversation. And what else does she have in place?
Is interrupt the bias. And that only happens with intentional steps. And then for those of us that aren't keyed in or being intentional, then we have to have structures in place to force us to look at the other perspective, to force us to include, other factors, to force us to have a second look, right? So that's where we get our auditing and our review and iteration and evaluation, right? Those things are our mechanisms. Those things are the structures we put in place, because sometimes we're all not going to be thinking about how we interrupt our bias. So we can't just assume because I put people in a room, now we're done, right? We also need the processes and the structure in place in an organization so that where the checks and balances. I know you're supposed to do this.
Okay. Then there's the other piece from Susanna on how she defines this.
What I would ask you, can you define a face for me? Because that makes sound like so silly, like you have never seen a face before. Why do you want me to define a face for you? Because if you don't define your construct, how you define your construct is how you will tell the data collection experts and the data collectors to go and collect your data. And it also how you will tell the annotation labelers to give label them. So at the very beginning of it, I would ask you to define your construct for me. Even if it is a face, I would like to know, is this a face? Is this a face? And if I do this, is that a face? If I, the back of my head, is that a face? In art majors, the back of your head is a face. But in facial recognition technology, the back of your head is not a face. But children and even us, we can recognize our friends and family members in a large crowd or group just by looking at the back of their head. So that is also a part of your face. I would have asked you to define all part. If you were to defining your construct to me, I would have liked to see all shapes and sizes, all colors, all angles, all framing, and all compositions, all different types of hair types and everything, different lightings. I would have asked you to define your face in so many different ways that the construct itself would be so varied and diverse that now that with that definition, I would tell the data collection researchers to go out and collect data.
Okay. So you get an idea when I say that we would use Playment as a data annotation platform, and we're going to do labeling. So that's what we will do in our inclusive AI class. And the piece that you heard from Diavin is more responsible AI. That's the other module. So with that, I believe we are closing close to the end of our hour. So I want to share 2 resources. If you're looking at all our courses, here's a bit.ly that I can share. Let me go to wherever you guys already are watching this, so it shows up all courses. link is here. So you can get that. And I already showed you how to get the catalog. Otherwise, just go to Business School of AI as a starting point. And the main thing I need from you as a feedback is, I go by feedback. I spend a lot of time and I do a lot of free sessions with everybody. So I need to know if this is useful. I'm trying to organize whatever resources I'm seeing through the week to bring it to you. So do you want this compiled in one newsletter? We are going to open and read it. Are you just going to show up here and let me tell you this? Will it be useful? One of the suggestions somebody said is, there's this learning pathway to AI. You're talking about LiveLab with NLP, with machine learning and data science and inclusive AI. Can you give us like a 5-day lesson and give us an email each day explaining each of these and help us with some free resources or a learning starting point for that? If that'll be interesting, I can do that. I can't keep on writing one every day all through the month, but I can do that for 5 days. So give me feedback, guys. I go by feedback and I want you to learn AI. I want all of us to come together, make it inclusive and go build AI, because it's affecting me, it's affecting you, it's affecting the world. We are kind of the end of the hour, so I don't have time to go into this, but I had a discussion with somebody just today about how when you're tracking emotions, there are tools and technologies that are tracking the emotions of children. And there is a report by one of my friends that I want to share here, but I don't have it handy, so I'll have to do a follow-up with you. So the children, there's nobody talking about it. GDPR and all this thing is happening with focused on adults, and there is nothing that is about children and their agency that is it is being tracked. So it was fascinating for me to know that. I actually found the link for it, so I'll show you that in a minute. So this is about one second. This is my friend Gilad Rosner, and he has published this. One second, I'll show that, and then I'm going to wrap up for today. Okay, should you let your children play with emotionally intelligent toys because they're tracking you? It's called EmotonsAI, and analysts are predicting this technology with looking at language, gesture, and facial recognition is going to be a $52 billion, which is like 41 billion euros by 2026. And so this is a good article. If this is something, here's the URL for it. So I'm going to post this also in the chat. So EmotonsAI is a very important topic that we're going to cover in Inclusive AI. Thank you, Dan. And then come for the pre-class, luma.ma, lu.ma, which is luma/live pre-class, lu.ma/livelab pre-class, and come for Julian's class and check it out and see how we are going to build this whole concept of equitable transportation. So EmotonsAI with children by Gilad. Dr. Gilad Rosner is a brilliant person. You should follow him if you're looking at privacy, and he's done lots of intelligent, amazing research work. Okay, so with that, I'm going to wrap up. So I hope I will see you. I'm just looking at all the different windows where you're chatting with me. It sounds a little crazy, but it's amazing that you care enough to come and find me and chat with me in all the mediums. So I'm so thankful for that, guys. So thank you so much. And so come for the pre-class for the LiveLab machine learning on Monday, and the class is on Tuesday. And if you're in Europe, make sure that, or in Malaysia or Portugal, where it makes sense for your time, go for this urban AI in urban mobility. I'm going to put that in AI in urban mobility event. I'm putting that also in the link. And on the 21st, there is another thing actually. Stanford has an event. Let me see if I have that link handy. Stanford has an event on 21st and 22nd. I have to look it up for you, which is, let me see, I should have that handy, which is overlapping the weekly Wednesday for me. So I'm looking to see, is there a way I can actually come go there and bring some of that content for you. So I may likely do that. So which is also another AI event from Stanford HAI. So a lot of things happening on the 21st. Julian's event, Julian's machine learning class. If you're going to learn and get a certificate, that would be the fastest thing. I would recommend that. Other than that, check out the EmotonsAI. And if that's interesting, we can talk more. But I need feedback from you. Do you want all this put together in one email link as a newsletter? Or do you want to just get 5 days, one day lesson on various aspects of AI? And with that, I'm going to wrap up. I will see you online at the pre-class with Julian and at Weekly Wednesday, definitely on Wednesday. Otherwise, I will see you back here on Friday, and keep up the good work. So I'm seeing a comment from Dan. Thank you, Dan, for joining me. EmotonsAI already kind of exists with Facebook, with the site inferring consumers' emotions and generating something as a function of it. Yes, EmotonsAI did not become this 52 billion market without everybody working on it. In fact, Susanna Raj, who teaches InclusiveAI, the AI ethics class for us, actually came into this field. Susanna was the person who was explaining what is the construct for how do you define a face. She's going to do that as defining emotions for us. And here is, let me share that link. So Susanna came into this whole AI ethics world because she's a psychologist. So this is, if you click, you can click on this AI ethics, responsible AI and inclusive AI, and go to this link from Business School of AI. And so we have Renee Cummings, who is an expert in responsible AI, who is going to be teaching that topic. And then we have Susanna Raj. I'm checking to see whether I have a link. I'll update this to add a link for our free webinar also, in case you are interested in that. Otherwise, you can find her actual lesson in here. So the thing with Susanna Raj is she was brought into Intel as an intern to look at emotions. This was almost 10 years back. So the inside of the car, they had collected information and they wanted to annotate it to understand emotions of people. So in the self-driving car, there is always this talk of, okay, what if people are drowsy and sleepy, and should we have control to the human if the car can't run? And what if the human is not alert and awake? Then what happens to the safety? So it's all meant well, but then they're trying to understand all the different emotions of people. And they did that 10 years back. So Facebook must be doing a lot of that. It is very interesting. And Facebook had some kind of experimental thing of affecting. It's not just inferring my emotion from my images, but trying to send certain feeds to see how people became sad or happy. And they did an official experiment and then kind of got yelled at and stopped that. So there's a lot happening. This is like a wild west. There is no control in there. So my role in here, I'm just saying, instead of being preachy about it and asking for regulation, and UN is asking for a regulation to stop that, right? And it's real. This is at a global level, and if they're saying stop, they've had conversations with everybody. They know the impact of the money, the economy, how the human rights, and there's tons of research already in place. So my role in there is I'm going to teach you to look at this, to understand and do this right. Go get the jobs in tech, go work on it with whatever you're working, but I want you to do this right. So with the inclusive AI, again, it'll be a 2-hour workshop. Susanna wants to split it over 2 days instead of just 1 2-hour band. So on the 27th, and I believe the next one will be 30th. And she's just we are going to look at emotion AI. I'm going to get you data sets if you're interested in that. Dan, if you want to follow up offline, I'm happy to give you EmotonsAI data set. In fact, in the video lesson that I showed you, that I have exposed or made it open from the last round, there is a list of EmotonsAI as a data set. Let me share that link also here. So if that is interesting, you can follow up. And we are going to define what is the construct for various different emotions. And in the Western world, what I showed you with the professor talking about how it is done, there's 6 emotions that is defined. And it's not limited to 6. It should not be limited to 6, but it's defining 6 emotions. And that's what general research has been published and work has been done in tech. But we'll make you define constructs, and I've identified different biases, and then mitigate the biases, and then help figure out what is the right way to do the annotation so that you can build this out using you can actually build this out as an HR system. So in the Inclusive AI class, we are not building it. We are actually incorporating the right kind of annotations, understanding how to do the right construct of data, and get to a place where it can be built. And in the no-code AI class, data science, I'll be feeding everything into multiple data no-code AI platforms. So hopefully if you have learned that or even taken a free webinar, you should be able to feed that into a no-code AI platform if you want to go build a model with it. So based on different people's and backgrounds, I'm happy to guide them along. So if you take Julian's, so what I'm recommending is, if this is interesting for you, come to Julian's pre-class on Monday, and he'll give you a Google Colab and setup. And then if you have the bandwidth, resources, talk to me. You can learn the basics machine learning model, how he does that. And then come to Susanna's Inclusive AI class on the 27th, learn from that. If you want, you can come to my class, which is on the 28th, which is about data science. If you already have the foundation, you don't need that. But if you take the Inclusive AI class from Susanna on the 27th, you will learn how to define AI emotions and different emotions, and go through that as a construct exercise using the deployment platform, similar to what Ajay showed us previously in class. And then you can actually apply what Julian has taught, or apply what using Google Colab, or what I will be teaching using Akio and IBM Watson for machine learning, feed it, and then you can build a model. So that's the whole idea. I would want you to go on a learning path, or it's for some people, it could be too much. And you say, no, I just want to learn machine learning. I just want to learn NLP. I don't even want to learn any of this. I just want to get a webinar or a play class and let internalize all that. That's okay too. Right? We all have to learn at our own pace. And then if you're ready, then here's a whole portfolio. You can learn NLP or machine learning, and then you learn the data science foundation, and then you learn some no-code AI platform, or you can learn how to set it up with a Google Colab. And then if you have a coding background, you can take the Google Colab and it's Python, you can go build on it and do more. And that's where I'm going. But I want you to do this with the appreciation of Inclusive AI, because you're going to build this and you're going to go, and AI is everywhere already. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. And I will hopefully see you Monday or Wednesday or on next Friday. Okay. Thanks, everybody. And please give me feedback about the newsletter or the 5 series of emails. I'm serious because I write every night. So I want it to be useful. Okay. Thank you. Okay. And thanks, Dan and Mike, for joining here and for your comments and questions. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye. I'm going to stop my recording here. Done.